What is going on, guys? It's your boy Dreamer from GotBetterBeats.com, and I'm here with another video. And I know you guys heard me chime in on it through the shorts if you saw some of the recent shorts, but uh a Studio One 6.6 update, man. It was, I mean, they added TuneCore. They added the Apple spatial audio, which is dope. And they also added Studio One Hybrid. And Studio One Hybrid is pretty much where if you get the annual subscription, they'll give you a perpetual license. And that's really good, especially for people who are just getting into Studio One. But to me, being that I was on, paying for it every month, I'm like, okay, since it first started, like we should have got a deep discount or something. But so instead of going down that rabbit hole, because it seems like Fender is really kind of just worried about the subscription model more than the hardware route. That's really why I got into Studio One, because I know, I love the fact that Studio One was like just made for the fader port. So mixing in Studio One was great, but I think I'm going to switch back to Cubase because it's more suited for my creativity in the production area. And in this video, I'm going to just show you a couple of reasons why. And they're simple things, but workflow matters. So let's get into it. So the first thing is I just drug a couple tracks in, but let's say let me see what these sound like. Okay, well, I think it synced to my tempo. I think that was at like 110. Okay, so let's say if I'm working on something, and let's say I'm like, okay, I like the way this sounds, but I just need to do a quick EQ move. I already have an EQ set up right here. With Studio One, I was normally having to open up a track, pull in a Pro EQ, and the Pro EQ is great. But, to me, it's just quicker to be able to have the EQ and as well as some tools, like let's say if I wanted to add in a maximizer, so I mean, it just kind of makes it quick. If I wanted to add in some saturation, so on and so on, different tools, de-essers, it makes it really cool to be able to, utilize those quick tools, because Cubase actually has some good sounding stock plugins. So that's one of the things. Another thing is having access to this large meter. And even though I'm not mixing with my eyes, it's good to know, like, if, where I am. As you can see, I kind of have my meter set. You can actually customize the colors, like, so when I'm kind of mixing, I already know when I'm getting into the green, I'm pushing up closer and closer to 0. So it just kind of lets me know, like, okay, what to look out for. So that's one of the things. And a big thing that I really didn't care for with Studio One was their media bay. And the reason why is mainly because let me just go to, I think Delicatessen has some nice stuff. So one of the things that I really didn't care for Studio One was when I'm in the media bay, first of all, whatever you're playing, if it's something that, let's say if you've already added some effects to your mix bus or your stereo bus, it adds all that processing to the loops that you're listening to. So that right there in itself was a problem. I'm like, okay, so it's blowing your eardrums out. You have to turn everything down, and I need to hear it raw because I'm wanting to know, like, if I want like a rim shot or something like that. I just kind of want to hear, how it sounds normal. That way I can know if I need to put it in. So that was one aspect of it. And like, it doesn't autoplay, so I would have to click it. As you can see, this autoplays. So this autoplays. I actually like that because when I'm looking for stuff, and if I type in kick and I have a long list of kicks, I just want to be able to, you know, kind of take it down. And if I in Studio One, let's say if I was playing it, and then I started playing the song to see if that part would fit, and I go back to the media bay looking for more sounds, it's not auto playing. So it just kind of took you out of your element just by adding so many steps. And, they need to fix that. And to be able to not make it go through the all your effects that you have. Like if you're actually mixing a song and you're just trying to, put anything in there. It could be like a tag or just, transition effects or something like that. You don't want to hear it with everything, with all your mix bus effects on it. So it's just a little weird. So, and another thing that I do like while we're like about Cubase is, let's see, let me find something cool. Let's try. Okay, let me they have some really nice sounds in here. For one, that's another plus one for Cubase. Okay, so let me just pull in this one shot, then I'll show you what I'm saying with the loop. So I'm just gonna right click it, go to create sampler track. And the sampler track has been out for a while, but I think they updated it. So for one, it does give me access through the whole computer. I mean, the full range of my keyboard. And so let's say if I want to turn the filter on, I can actually pick to have just a little distortion. I can add a little drive. So let me find one that's just a little deeper. Yeah. So we'll pull this guy in. So if I want to add a little drive, that's actually going to be good. And you can actually, put it on the classic and just, do your cutoff. If I want to clip, that's always cool. You can have the bit crusher on this. So you can definitely, make some stuff get crazy. Okay. But one of the other things that I actually do like is you can actually modulate the pitch on here. So like if this was a loop, you can actually go in and, I'll show you with the loop, but I mean, they actually have customized pitch envelopes, and you can also create your own pitch envelope shaping. So you can actually do some stuff like shaper box. Let me pull in a melody loop so we can. And also, I love the fact that they actually have the ratings on here. So, okay. So this is one of the things that I really wanted to show you guys, the slicing feature. So with the slicing feature is like as you can see, it actually detects the transients for the most part. And you might have to go in and adjust because this is actually, it's really, it's really hard to tell the different transients, but it does a really great job of finding. Let me see where it starts. Okay. Okay, so I wouldn't want that there, so I would press down Alt, take that away. But now I can actually customize it to the point. So and also with the pitch, it's a really great engine for this. Let's say, oh, I didn't want to go up 4 octaves. I wanted to go up 1 octave. See, and that's moving in on the on machines territory, because I mean this engine is sounding really dope. As you can see, my machine ain't even on. and that's not a shot to Native Instruments and Machine, but that's just letting you know how good, Cubase is on the creative side, on the musical side. Like, you don't have to have Machine if you don't have Machine. So, so these are the different things that really, and there's a lot more that I really do like about Cubase as well. So, but I'm really not going to make this long, but just those simple things is the reason why I'm switching from Studio One to Cubase. There are some things that Studio One does in the workflow, like the drag and drop features. You can drop sends in, you can drag and drop just about everything everywhere. That's actually dope. That's quick. But I feel like some of the workflows, like with the media bay with Studio One, that definitely just kind of. And also, I'll just say this. I'll show you this right here, and we'll just end this video. But this right here, the export options. You have export options in Studio One and Cubase, but Cubase actually gives you a cue. So, like, let's say for me, when I'm making music for my website, I'm going to have an MP3 version. I'm going to have a tagged version. I'm going to have the stems version. I can actually add those jobs to my queue, set it and forget it, and go get me a cup of coffee, go get something to eat, and just let it do its thing on its own. It's going to put it where I want it, and it's going to automatically do it. To me, that's something that people are paying for, like Bounce Butler and different programs like that, and they may do a little bit more, but honestly, to have that built in, that is one of the godsends about Cubase. So, let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Let me know if y'all think I'm tripping, Studio One is the place to be, or if you actually think it's cool. And I don't know if I said this or not, but and this is more of a taste thing, but these libraries that Cubase have, they dope. I'm gonna just say that. I'm not gonna say nothing about Studio One's library. Theirs seemed a little dry. It had some cool stuff in it, but it was kind of basic. I mean, it gave you a lot with Studio One Plus, and it depends on your genre of music. But but like even these soulful R&B vocals, like listen to the quality of these.
No, no, oh, darling. Ooh, yes. Ooh, ooh, couldn't deal with all the pain. You were the one to blame. I wish.
And stuff like that, like you can actually, let's see.
Ooh, yeah.
I know I said I was gonna cut it, but using the sampler track, you can actually use the format option and stuff like that, and audio warp. Let's see.
Ooh.
So you can actually do music, spectral vocal.
Ooh.
changing the format. Let's see. For some, trap soul type stuff. So you already know, like, that's one of the cool things. So you could pretty much get your arcade on a little bit, chopping these phrases up, and man, yeah, like, really get a chance to. So yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. In the next video, I have some dope tips for you guys to give your music just a little bit of life. You know what I'm saying? So if you're already on the right track, but you just feel like there's something missing, trust me. So stay tuned with me on the next video and check out my my drum kits, man. I got a couple nice drum kits, and if your pocket's a little low, trust me, download the free ones and you'll actually see what I mean. I'm working on a new one as well. So peace. I'll see you guys in the next video.